After Bitcoin dropped from $76,000 down to $69,000, we're seeing a bit of relief for the first time. And at this point, many crypto investors are naturally asking themselves, and rightly so, will it now tend to go up towards $79,000, or will we rather go down towards $60,000? Because down here we have a very, very large open wick. This is usually filled, and since we're currently at $70,000, that means $10,000 down. We're at 60, would fill this wick, $10,000 up, we would have reached our price target here. That means currently we are exactly in the middle. And I'll put it this way. The middle is naturally probably not a bad range to open a trade. And for this reason, we're going to take a very close look at the market dynamics today. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm currently trading and what my next planned trade entries are. So I'd say, let's not waste any time. Let's dive right in. And with that, hello and a very warm welcome to a new video here on my channel. It's me, Max. Today I'm giving you an important crypto market update. So friends, before we dive into the whole thing here, there's a button below this video. That's the like button. You can click that once and that way you can support me for free. Otherwise, you also have a comment section down here where you can just write, thanks Max, top analysis, or also algo push. Yeah, I'd be very happy if you could just comment algo push here. Thank you very, very much for your support. If we look at the current Bitcoin situation, of course, we see a very, very strong downward movement from the head down, which was $76,000 to $68,800. And many people are now hoping that Bitcoin will make a pullback upwards here. And there, purely from a chart perspective, I unfortunately have to disappoint you. Purely from a chart perspective, on a 30-minute and 1-hour basis, I have to tell you, the market looks rather bearish. It has to be said clearly, it looks more like we're now on a small time frame, as if we missed this high, as if the forecast was maybe set a bit too high and should tend to be lower. We're now seeing this bounce here, which I also, by the way, drew in beforehand, that we're seeing this relief bounce while we're here on the support. And then it could well be that we just keep going down and see the crash directly. Isn't it maybe better at the current point where we are right now to perhaps sell everything after all before I then possibly hold my Bitcoins all the way down to 48,000 and then hold them for another 3 months back up? That would of course be a valid option, but I have another theory I'd like to show you. Namely, yes, we crashed down, and yes, we also took out many lows on a 1-hour basis. On the 4-hour basis, I think we even only tested that one low. Exactly, we tested that one low here. That was more relevant down here on the hourly basis. When I look at the 4-hour dynamics here, I clearly see an uptrend. Unfortunately, at this point on a 1-hour basis, the market has already entered a downtrend, and it's quite logical that if we see a downtrend on the 4-hour timeline, we usually see it first on the 1-hour time frame, because in the small time unit, it naturally has to knock over the other time units like a domino. That means from a 4-hour technical perspective, this would initially remain bullish. On the 4-hour chart, you could say, hey, a higher low. Of course, that higher low could still drop down to 67 here and only then move up. But on the 4-hour time frame, we're definitely still in a bullish phase. There's no other way to put it, but we've been in this bullish phase for a while now, and the longer we stay bullish, the closer we get to the next bearish phase, which could be happening right now. On a 1-hour basis, we've just had a high point here. We had the previous high here, so that's a higher high. We had a low here and another low here, and we've at least taken out this low already, which is definitely the first indicator that we're seeing a downward movement. And personally, I also expect that at the end of the day, we'll see exactly this downward move to below $50,000. That's actually been my scenario from the start, that we dip below $50,000 once to 48,000, maybe in the worst case 42,000 if, everything goes south and whatever happens. Like if crypto gets banned, then maybe even 38,000. But in my opinion, there isn't much more room for the market to go lower than that. That needs to be stated very clearly. It's just not in the cards. And looking at this, I'd say, hey, that's definitely a likely outcome. But that doesn't mean it couldn't still head back up one more time first. Because at the end of the day, I believe the market is facing a massive short movement. That is ultimately my primary forecast. But if the market wants to make a huge short move, it doesn't just go short. That would be far too simple, because then too many people would see it coming, too many would profit from the move, and that's just not how the market works. What's likely to happen in the market now is this. The market will probably, in my view, make a very, very strong upward move up to $78,000, $79,000, $80,000, making people think the market is just exploding upwards, the bottom is in, and so on, so that exactly this sentiment builds up like, oh yeah, the bottom is in. That sentiment has to emerge in the market. I mean, we can also look at this using the fear and greed index. If I refresh it now, it's sitting at 31. But it was significantly higher again recently at, around 45, the fear and greed index was, and it stayed there for 2 or 3 days. That wasn't too bad either. This means fear is slowly leaving the market, which is the perfect time to inject some FOMO and push the market toward $81,000 or something in that range. Yeah, of course, you can't predict the exact level, 81, 80, 79, something around there. Yeah, just push the market there from a market maker's perspective. So if you want to understand how I trade against the market. I'm an anti-retail trader. But that's why I have such extremely high success rates, because I simply trade against the market. Yeah, let's say everyone is saying the market is going to crash. I agree. Yes, the market will crash, but I trade it differently than others and say, hey, if the market is going to crash, let's have a spike upwards first. And then, of course, everyone here goes long. We'll grab the liquidity here again. There's bound to be plenty there. Yeah, and then we're at $81,000, $82,000, and then the market will likely just keep crashing down from there, and only then will we see the downward move. That means we first create some nice FOMO on the long side, and then, of course, tear people apart. It wasn't any different during the last consolidation phase if you take a look at it, yeah. We came down from the crash here to the peak of $80,000, and back then I already said we'd surely test $80,000, but not directly. But many think we'll test $80,000, and they're right, but then they go short somewhere around here, yeah, and the market just doesn't move short for 2 or 3 months, and then it pulls the market up at a relatively rapid pace. And if we get a move to $80,000, it'll likely be the kind of move where we really just climb $10,000 in 1 or 2 days, and then we're standing up here. And then people won't be thinking, oh, the crash is coming. Instead, people will be saying, oh, is the crash really coming? Shouldn't we rather wait? And so on. That's just how the market sentiment will be, and then it'll likely knock the market down just like here, yeah. That means that the move, yeah, that we'd go to this level again was clear once we'd already made this V correction. It was clear we'd test this level once, but that would be far too simple, of course. You have to do a bit of zigzagging here, of course. Yeah, up, down, so that everyone who positioned themselves here in this consolidation phase, whether long or short, was naturally kicked out of their trades. And then we push the market up in an insane way. Here, just before $100,000 again, through such a sensitive price level. Oh, we're at 97, where was it exactly? 97.59, so at 98,000. Now it's heading back to $100,000, or at least we're testing $100,000. Yeah, in the end, nothing doing, the market naturally gets knocked down. A similar scenario for Ethereum as well, of course. I also tend to assume that we'll see a strong move up here now, only to have the final crash down in the end. That's just the realistic scenario for me. Of course, I could also be wrong with this scenario or my thesis here. That's part of trading. Nonetheless, I'm already positioned long in good time to catch the first long moves, of course. Also, by the way, this trade was $700 or even $1,000 in the red yesterday. I increased this trade again during the stream. The position is now $40,000 in size, so $4,173 margin with 10 times leverage. Yeah, that's about $41,000. Now, even in profit, relatively slightly, yeah. But at the end of the day, I want to scale this position up further and carry it up to about $79,000. Personally, I'll be getting out a bit earlier. I've chosen 79 as an exit here. I've chosen 77,700 as an exit here just to be on the safe side. And for all those who haven't heard yet, everyone who signs up on LEVEX via the first link in the video description, you can find the first link right here, levex.com/Max Steinauer, Max Steinauer. Exactly, via that link. If you sign up there, you'll have access to my profile. That means you can just enter Max Steinauer here at the top on LEVEX, then click on creators, and then you'll get to my profile and can see all my trades and my posts accordingly. And the best part about my posts is every morning at 8 a.m. there's a fresh market update. I'm going to post today's market update online right now as well. Yeah, and then you'll have the market update, and I'm giving away 110 USDT every day to someone who leaves a comment here. I'm displaying the winner of yesterday's or the day before yesterday's giveaway right down here. Huge congratulations to you. You'll receive the money from LEVEX automatically over the next few days. So on that note, friends, please head down below this video. Yeah, hit that thumbs up button. It really helps me out a lot. Smash that like button, push the algorithm. Friends, I'd say we'll see each other. So until then, and bye.